So here it is. This is finally my 160 Storm gear setup video. I've had this gear for a little while now, ever since I finished Novus. Basically, I finished Novus and then immediately went and started farming for all this gear. And I got all this gear within like 3 days, so it didn't take me too long. Now there's even double reagents going on, so that makes it even easier to get the polygons and the pixels that you need if you're going to craft some of it. But this is what I think is the best Storm gear in the game, at least for the effort required. Maybe there's some other pieces that you could switch out that would give you a little bit more damage or a little bit more pierce or whatever, but I feel like the effort on that is going to be higher than the effort it took me to get these pieces, because some of the other pieces require like raid stuff and like decathlon stuff. So here we go. Here are my stats for level 160 Storm. I have 7.5k health, which is the most health I've ever had on my Storm character, so happy about that. 213% damage. I already knew the damage was going to be this high because I was able to equip this gear in Test Realm. It's nice to have this gear now in Live Realm too, but 213% damage, there's no damage cap anymore, at least with 213, there's no damage cap. Maybe if you get higher than that, but I feel like it's hard to even get more damage than this unless you just go like all out. But this gear is still really well-rounded. So 213 damage. We also have 32 resist across the board and 36 accuracy, which gives you 100% accuracy on all storm spells. So for the critical, we're at 775, which I feel like is pretty good. No percentage because it depends on who you're facing, but I feel like 775 is fine. And then block, I really don't care about block. Like, do you ever block really? Does it actually make a difference in PvE anymore? Probably not. But I am happy about the pierce. 43% pierce is definitely really high for PvE. It's good to have high pierce in PvE now because enemies do have natural resist, and piercing through that is really good. And then of course, if they ever put up a shield, you can pierce through that and deal more damage. So 43 pierce is awesome. I'm also using stun resist jewels to get 20% stun resist, and then 35 pip conversion, 101% power pips, 1, 2, 3 in the shadow rating, and then arch mastery. I'm not really going for dual school, so but yeah, those are the stats. So how did I get all this gear? I'm gonna go through each piece, and as I go through each one, I'm gonna go over to the boss that drops these pieces. So for the first one, the hat, it is dropped by this boss, which, spoilers if you haven't done Novus or haven't seen it, this is actually the final boss of Novus. And we're going to go in there and I will talk about the strategy I used as well as the gear itself. So this fight isn't actually that bad, especially if you get around the polymorph. But here is the gear. This fight drops the hat, which is direct upgrade to Dragoon hat, which I was using. But it does give less power pip, it gives less accuracy, only 1% more pierce, but trust me, the stats all kind of, you know, make up for this with other pieces. You can also socket the pins, but those are more for dual school. I haven't found any pins that are actually useful for me on my Storm, so I just decided to not use any of them. You can if you want to, but that's just kind of the option of pins, is you can socket whatever you want. Yeah, but more for dual school. So that is the helmet. This fight also drops the robe, but I'm still using the Malister robe, which I'm sure people could have probably guessed this. There's actually a better robe that's dropped from the raid, and I feel like you can get higher stats with that. You can get higher pierce and damage maybe. But if you do have the raid robe, then you can go ahead and use that for level 160, and I feel like your stats can be a little bit better, which I would expect because the raid is difficult and takes a lot of time. So you can use that if you have it. The wand is also dropped from this fight, and this wand is really good. Like, compared to what I used to use, which was the Fossil Warrior, this wand is just straight up better. Even with the set bonus, this wand is still better. It gives 9% pierce, 29 damage, and 134 crit. So just across the board, everything better. The only thing I'm seeing that it doesn't give compared to the Fossil Warriors is the shadow rating, but everything else is just like way better. So this is a good wand to go for sure. So yeah, this fight drops the hat, robe, and the wand. If you're going for the same setup as me, you don't need to get the robe, and you just go for those two pieces. To farm this, I farmed all of these with 2 wizards. So for this fight, you would send in 1 wizard that's probably not going to hit, and then have them pass the first turn. They'll get polymorphed, and then once the planning phase starts of the next turn, you send in everyone else. and have the first person that went in that's polymorphed, have them flee. They flee, come back, same turn, and that's it. You just do this fight as normal, kill within like 2 or 3 turns after that, and yeah, rinse and repeat. Do this until you get the gear that you want. Is it an exploit? I don't think so. I feel like there's lots of fights in this game where fleeing is actually a strategy. If they wanted to patch this to where you can't do that, all they have to do is make it so that the boss cheats and polymorphs anyone that enters the battle the first turn that they join. That's it. If they did that, then you couldn't really farm this as fast. But are they going to change that? I have no idea. So the next piece that we're looking at are the boots, and these are dropped in the Polaris area. So I'll just kind of quickly show that. It's dropped from Maxine, and you can farm this. It's actually pretty easy to farm because it's just right here. And farm Maxine a bunch in order to get these. Also, for the gear drops from these bosses, they drop all schools, no matter what school you are. So you'll probably be getting different school boots before you get your own, unless you get lucky. Yeah, this is the Maxine fight, and she drops the boots, which are just direct upgrades to the Dragoon boots that I was using. They actually give 10% more damage than Dragoon, so that's pretty crazy. They also give some accuracy, which Dragoon boots didn't give. But yeah, go for these. Definitely good to get as an upgrade if you have Dragoon. So the strategy for this fight is just to send in one wizard, wait until the planning phase starts counting down, and then send in the rest of your team. This will skip the invulnerability cheat that she has, and you just do this as normal. The only annoying thing about this fight is these 3 minions will spam Stormlord a lot. But other than that, this fight, not too bad, especially if you can skip that cheat. So that is another kind of trick that people are using to farm this one. So this next boss is for the Athame, and it's located over here. So Ren 1010 is the side boss that drops the Athame. This boss is annoying because to get to this boss, you actually have to do a whole side quest that starts in the Marleybone area. So New Vicorgia is where I think Lassie is the NPC that drops this quest. Go through the whole quest line. You have to actually fight a cheating boss before you get to this cheating boss in order to actually farm it. So here is the Athame that this boss drops. It gives a lot of health, especially compared to what I was using, which was Aphrodite's. So much more health. It gives a lot of power pip, and then you just sock it, and a lot of damage. Obviously, it gives 6% more damage than Aphrodite's. This one you don't actually have to like send people in on different turns or whatever, or wait. You can send everyone in first turn, and basically you want to hit first turn to kill all the minions. Once you do that, he drops like this Spyglass card. Use that on him, and then wait until he is going to cast Snowball Barrage. The turn that he's going to cast that is the only turn that you can actually hit him without him healing. So you do that, wait until he uses it. Sometimes he takes forever, sometimes he spams it like every turn, so it just is completely like RNG based. But yeah, that's how you fight this. So actually pretty unique fight where you have to like kind of spy and see what he's doing to see when he's going to use this specific spell. I kind of like it, but yeah, this fight, not too bad. Especially if you can just, you know, kill the minions first turn. So we're back in the Nucleus Gallery, and this one I don't really have as much help to, or tips to kind of help you guys farm this one, because I got this ring first try from the Design Duelist boss. It's basically the Bowser boss, and he keeps coming back to life, and if you've gone through Novus, you know what I'm talking about. This boss is pretty annoying. The fact that you actually have to farm him for a ring, I can see why this would be a big struggle. Somehow I got this ring dropped first time through. Like, not even farming. I got this while questing. So this is the ring. It's really good, especially compared to what I was using, which I think was this. So yeah, a lot of damage, crit. It even gives 17% power pip. This is where a lot of the power pip is made up. And then you can also socket, you know, your 3 jewels, and yeah, you're good to go. So this ring is insane. Obviously worth farming for, but farming this one is going to be tough. I just realized I skipped the amulet, but the amulet is not dropped in Novus. I'm just using Flag Ops from Darkmoor because it gives the pierce, and just stats are overall like pretty good. So I am using that. You could use Dragoon if you want. If you like using Dragoon, you can get more health from it. But yeah, I decided to go for Flag Ops. I guess we'll just go in and see. I don't even know how many fights there are before you get to the actual boss in this, but I feel like this is one of the more annoying bosses to farm because you can't go directly to the boss. You have to do all of this. So I'm gonna mute this. So yeah, this one could be a struggle. I could see people taking a while to farm for this one. I just got lucky on it. I don't know how easy these rings drop, but maybe this is one that, you know, you're gonna have to put a lot of time into. And if you get the tier 2, definitely just go ahead and try to get the reagents and craft the tier 1. So that about covers all of the pieces of gear that you actually have to farm for. Otherwise, I'm just using the same pet that I've been using, which is the Scaly Frilosaur, all damage. And I just feel like for PvE, all damage is still really good, especially that there's no cap now. You might as well just go for all damage on a Storm Hitter. I'm also using the Storm Gulcher. You can't see it on here as equipped because you can't equip it in the Nucleus Gallery, but Storm Gulcher is equipped and I am using that. It gives 3% damage. You can get up to 216 damage if you equip the Chompy Bronto. I personally don't have that mount, but if you did have it, it's an extra 3% damage. So there you go. There are deck drops in this world, and I actually did get one. I forgot what boss it is, but it gives tier as the jewel slot. So I don't know if you really want to go for this. It gives a little more critical and stuff, but I don't feel like it's worth it. I would rather use the power pit because if I don't have this executive deck equipped, then I won't have 100% power pit. So I feel like you need the triangle deck. So just use whatever you have. I use executive. So if you guys enjoyed this, if it was helpful in any way, please leave a like on it. Definitely subscribe for more wizard videos in the future, and I will see you all next time.